Well, for more on this agreement between OPEC and other oil producers, I do now want to bring in the president of the Energy Policy Research Foundation, Lou Pugliaresi. Hi, Lou. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Great to be here.
What's the latest on the production cut agreement between OPEC and other world oil producers?
So we apparently have an agreement to last through the end of 2022, which would have a reduction somewhere around 8 million barrels a day. On paper, it may look like 10 or 11, but one of the things is cartel discipline, particularly with OPEC, isn't something that's really you could take to the bank.
The biggest issue that oil producers are facing in the months ahead is a plunge in demand. How far is demand expected to fall amid this coronavirus outbreak?
So we published something yesterday. We saw at least by the April 25 million barrels a day. I've seen some new estimates as high as 35 million barrels a day. And if you think about the world uses about 100 million barrels a day, this is an unprecedented collapse. We have growing supplies of jet fuel. And while the OPEC agreement, and a lot of this is some fig leaves having to do with what the U.S. is doing, the real answer to this problem for the oil industry is to put the world economy back to work. That is the only way this is going to get fixed.
Lou, work has begun on the Keystone XL pipeline here in North America, which will be key for oil transport across the continent here. How could that project, though, be impacted by this issue we're facing with a lower demand?
So the Canadian government has actually helped support that project. The Keystone pipeline is an integrated and essential component of the efficiency and operation of the North American production platform. So I think it will continue to move forward. I don't think decisions on pipelines such as the Keystone pipeline should be made on short-term pricing developments. The world will come out of this coronavirus epidemic. Demand will pick up, and the Keystone pipeline is a very important part of making the North American production system productive and strong over time.
President Trump today talked about the agreement that he reached with Mexico to kind of force them to agree to the OPEC deal, saying that Mexico will be having to reimburse the U.S. later on. How will Mexico reimburse the U.S. in the future for cutting our oil output to help them?
I am not sure what the president is talking about precisely on that. U.S., as far as I know, has no government action to reduce oil production. U.S. production will fall. It will probably fall as much as 500,000-600,000 barrels a day or more this year. Some production immediately happening, but it is happening because the price of oil is lower. As we said in the piece we published yesterday, that when this comes up at the G20 meeting, we suggested Secretary Brulette just point out that he gave at the office. There's nothing the government needs to do. U.S. production is going to fall.
Ultimately, lower oil prices do, of course, result in lower gas prices for consumers here in the U.S. That's a good thing, even amid lower demand, as many people are not using as much fuel and not traveling to work. What kind of price changes, though, could American consumers expect to see now that OPEC has reached this deal to cut oil output?
I think without a major recovery in the world economy, you're going to see gasoline prices routinely below $2 a gallon. The long-run price of oil, or let's say the medium-term price of oil, if we can start the world economy up, is probably going to be a lot closer to $40 a barrel than $60 a barrel. And that's going to mean adjustments around the world. It'll be good for consumers at one level, but you can't, how many times can you drive around the block if you're not permitted to go out? So once again, I think our theme is let's start the world economy and put people back to work, and the oil market will take care of itself.
All right. Lou Pugliaresi, the president of the Energy Policy Research Foundation, joining us to talk about the plunging demand for oil amid the coronavirus outbreak. Thanks so much for coming on the show today, Lou.
Thanks so much. Take care.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.